Hello, my name is Mahogany White. I am interviewing Ross Wilburn on the topic of African American history makers of Iowa City. You have been identified as a Black history maker of Iowa City and was known as the first African American mayor of Iowa City. Can you describe the feeling when you first was elected mayor?
If I could go back just a little bit, one of the reasons that I felt it was important for me to try to become mayor, the public isn't aware of this, but on the back of the city council chambers there are pictures of all the former mayors of Iowa City. And the council looks out at those and it jumps out at you that at the time there were only all white, primarily male city council members and mayors. And I just felt, since I was in the position to make the attempt to try and become mayor, that I guess there was a calling that I should go ahead and give the attempt while I was there. It was very exciting. I knew that it would be important to some people, but there was an incident that had happened later on in the day that an interaction with an older African American woman in town that really drove home for me how important it was to have made the attempt and to become successful becoming mayor.
And what brought you to Iowa City?
I came here for school. I am originally from Galesburg, Illinois, and went to junior high and high school in Davenport, Iowa, and I came to the University of Iowa for school and then hung around like a lot of people before me, but just loved it here. Had an opportunity for a job before I even finished school and decided to go ahead and raise my family here.
And how long have you lived in Iowa City?
Since 1982, so it's been some time.
And how have you been involved in any civil rights organizations?
Well, I've done some speaking with different organizations. I'm not a member of the NAACP, but I have done some speaking in front of that group. I was involved in President Obama's campaign, then Senator Obama's campaign to become president, and did some speaking with the Iowa-Nebraska chapter of the NAACP. And then just throughout my time here in Iowa City and the work that I've done, both as a city council member, but even before as a youth worker, and at the University of Iowa getting involved with different groups. I was on our diversity committee at the School of Social Work, and I was part of a national organization called the National Network for Youth, and was involved in some of the efforts there reaching out to minority youth. I mentioned earlier in the interview the event after I had become mayor, that an interaction I had with an African American woman. She'd been around town. I didn't know her by name, but she'd been around town for a long time, and I bumped into her on the street about an hour later, and she came over to me and said, I just heard on the radio that you were picked as mayor. I thought it would never happen. We started talking, and tears started coming to her eyes. And it was that moment that I knew, this was an important accomplishment to have achieved, not just for myself, but for the council members that selected me as mayor, and the public that saw past race as an issue in the first place, just even putting me on city council. So that was an important moment, I think. But just personally, I'm a parent. I'm a father of two daughters, and they teach me as much about myself as I think I teach them. And one of them's off to college now, and another's a sophomore at Iowa City High School. In a couple of years, she'll be off to school somewhere. And for me, just having been a parent for them and see them become successful and trying to do something in life has been an important thing for me.
Okay, and what has been your happiest memory?
My happiest memory, seeing my children being born, becoming involved in their lives. But even going back, just my mother died when I was 20 years old, and so just kind of remembering, reflecting on the times that we had together and the lessons that she taught me about life and community and being involved and respecting your elders and just trying to be positive and get involved in whatever town you're living in. Those are some of the happier memories of my life.
And the saddest memory?
The saddest moment, well, obviously when my mother died. That was a tough moment for me. There are five. I have 4 siblings, and my mother and I were very close. And when she contracted cancer and slowly died over the course of a couple of years, that was a pretty low moment. But even out of that, it taught me that despite some of the tough moments that I may have on city council or with my job at the Iowa City Community School District as equity director, that in most situations, no one has passed away, no one has died, and you can pretty much make it through a lot of other things. And I think even out of that sad moment, I try and hold that as a positive, both the memory of her, but even just recognizing in day-to-day life that as hard as things can get, and they can get hard sometimes for everyone, if you've got your health, if you've got your family and your friends, then things are going to be all right.
And with your biggest accomplishment, what would you change about what you did?
I don't know that I would change anything, either with my children or with City Council. I'm on my 11th year now on City Council, and hopefully there will be some folks that I can talk to about running for City Council on the year that I decide not to run for City Council again. But in terms of the process and what had happened, I don't know that I would change a thing.